In today's unboxing, we take a look at LA Crimes, an expansion to Detective, a modern crime board game. Let's take a look.
There are hobbyists among us, geniuses with the ability to play any game they want to. In 1978, a corporation known as The Interior isolated a young hobbyist named John and exploited his genius for their entertainment.
Then one day, their hobbyist ran away.
Here we have LA Crimes, the expansion to Detective, a modern crime board game. It is labeled all right here on the box, Parental Advisory, explicit content, so that is something to take note. As we're going through here, it might not be for all ages. Let's go ahead and flip it over, take a look. And we can see the contents. We have 3 new cases within this box and a little bit of lore. I am a little surprised that we do not see the standard player count, time count, all that kind of stuff on here. It's a little understandable, being that these type of games that you are trying to solve a case, depending on how you go, how you play, it might take a little bit of extra time or whatever it is, but Parental Advisory contains strong language and depictions of violence. So that's where the Parental Advisory comes in. So that's something to take note. Take the law into your own hands and bring justice to the streets. It's the 80s, and Los Angeles is a city swarming with corruption, narcotics, and crime. A unique case has presented itself. However, it needs a detective who isn't afraid to do what's necessary. If that's you, then join the LAPD and solve crimes under the leadership of James Bradley. This expansion includes 3 new cases that create one exciting campaign. LA Crimes introduces new playable characters and new mechanics into the base game of Detective, a modern crime board game. You will run surveillance and learn more about the suspects and accumulating stress much faster when deciding to break protocols in order to get criminals behind bars. How far will you go? Well, this sounds absolutely fantastic. I can't wait to dive into this thing. I love the fact that we have 3 cases that together create a campaign for a continuing story. That really sounds appealing, sounds exciting to me. Well, let's go ahead and crack this open and see what we have on the inside. Alright, so at first glance, it looks like it is packaged very similar to, say, Fantasy Flight Games for their deluxe expansions for their Arkham Horror card series. Let's go ahead and pull everything out. It looks like we have about 5 or so character cards. We will go ahead and leave those hidden for now. I don't think there's anything spoiler-esque to show you the characters, but just in case, I do like to try to keep my videos in 2 parts, a spoiler-free and a spoiler part. So if you do want to say spoiler-free, I want to make sure we keep that going. And then it looks like we have the cases are all in their own separate package, so probably you could open them one at a time, 1, 2, 3. They appear to be of the tarot size cards. So if you are a sleever, to have any kind of idea of what kind of sleeves you want, they do look to be the tarot size cards. I'm not positive on that, but that's what they look like to me. That is what you're getting quantity wise. Looks like there's a very good bit of content in here. Where most of this, I think, has gone through the app, where you're having to play with the app on here. And then up next, then we have the time board and the rules. Let's see, and then yep, that appears to be everything. Yep. And here we go. Yep. And the instructions does have that little code in there, so I do want to make sure I keep that hidden. Because get something to cover that up. But here we can go ahead and take a look at the time board. And then here is its other side. And up next we will take a look at the instructions. And here we have the instructions, and once again I just grabbed something nice and bright to cover up that code. This is what you would enter into the game to, I believe, show that you have that to get all the content for it. So just in case, I wanted to cover that just to be safe. But I wanted to make sure we can see the rules so we can look this over to get an idea of all of the setup and everything. And then the inside. And yep, so here we're showing that time card, which we looked at just a few seconds ago. And then here it's actually showing all of the new characters, so that probably then isn't spoiler territory. Again, also because they're not packaged in here in this little, with the covers on them. So we will go ahead and take a look at the characters here in a second. Then, of course, all of the credits. The little disclaimer here, very cool. Making the game harder. Now this is cool. I like this, where they add little extras for making, if you have difficulty levels. That's really cool. I like that. Here are our characters. They are double-sided. So we'll give you a second and then start flipping. And I like the visualization that they've done with this game, how everything looks. It's very cool. I like this a whole lot. Well, that is everything for our spoiler-free unboxing of LA Crimes, an expansion to Detective, a modern crime board game. I hope this unboxing has helped you to determine if this is something you would be interested in, if you would like to add this to your copy of Detective, a modern crime board game. If you do want to see everything else, the full spoiler-free unboxing, looking through the cards for the cases 1 through 3, it's coming up next. Well, I've had a slight change of heart after opening and going through these. There's really no way I can show you everything on here. There's a lot of wording on here. There's a ton of spoiler material that you really probably don't want to see. But I do want to be able to give you an idea of what the cards look like, what it has. So we will do a quick little flip through, just look through here of case 1. Being that case 2 and 3 are very similar. Again, to give you an idea of what the cases look like. Again, to help you to determine if this is something you would be interested in, if you want to add it to your game. What's really nice about it, again, they do want you to stay spoiler free, so they put this nice case 1 card, and of course it immediately starts on the flip side, but to keep everything hidden, as well as the back, that also is just a little piece of art there to end it, so you don't accidentally see things. Well, let's just do a quick little look through so you can see what the cards kind of look like. And as you can see, just tons of information. I don't know what the difference between where you see like a circle or a non-circle, but lots of information on here. So that is kind of what they look like, and the back side's very similar on them. So that is kind of what the cards look like. Again, to give you an idea of what that is. Again, I wanted you to help you to determine if this is what something you'd be interested in, the design, the way that everything looks. Well, that is everything for LA Crimes, an expansion for Detective, a modern crime board game. Something to keep of note, as I'm sure you saw during the unboxing, there is no extra packing material, no Ziploc bags, no anything like that. So if you do want to keep your cards separated, especially between cases, you are going to need to add something like that to here, especially as you go through. You don't want to get things mixed up or cross-contaminated or whatever it is. So you will want to add a couple bags to do that. No big deal, just something to keep notice us keeping that mind of. So hope this unboxing has helped you to determine if this is something you would be interested in, especially if you watched that very brief spoiler section where I just quickly went through the cards for case 1, just kind of just flipping through them so you can get an idea of what they look like, what the design of the game looks like. Well, until next time, guys, I'll see you later.